Hi.
Xenofon, good to
What's up,
catch you,
what's up?
brother, here in the flesh,
Finally,
in real
right?
life, in the real world. We connected on the Telegram, the network state space, and here we show up in Texas of all the places in the world. It's so strange, huh?
It's my first time in Texas, and I'm very
Yeah.
happy to be here.
Nice, nice,
It's
nice.
my first time in Austin, and this is magical
Yeah,
at Regen World.
yeah. So we came for Regen World 25. Um, Beautiful connections between the regenerative space, regenerative tech, intentional communities, spiritual communities, psychedelic communities, a bunch of nerds and hippies hanging out to make the world better.
The smartest hippies that you'll ever meet.
That's
And
right.
you meet
that's
them
right.
in Regen World, and they are builders, and they want to get things done.
That's right.
And it is refreshing to be in the energy of these people here and to learn from them.
Yeah.
As much as I and anyone from the crypto space can also contribute, there's a lot to learn from this community, and they're a lot more like a family than in many parts of the crypto world. Although there are parts of the crypto world that are exactly like family, if not more so.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, excited to be here.
How did you end up here? What was your path to connect with this regenerative space?
So I've been on a bit of a trek for the past year and a half, 2 years, basically. I've been traveling from network state to network state. I've been trying to research and understand international communities and how new societies can emerge from them and the tools that these societies can use. So what do I mean by that? I mean everything. How do they find their life partner? How do they find their principles? How do they pay for their food? How do these communities emerge and communicate and coordinate? Where they communicate from? What ties them together besides principle? And for people here, I feel a deeper connection because there is a spiritual connection here for many of these people. Myself included. I don't want to exclude myself from this. This is lovely.
Yeah.
Right? So I see a lot of potential for realization of the network state in these communities, more so than anywhere else. And if we want to build this for the Web3 ecosystem and embrace the future and be the builders of the future, well, we need to embrace these people that have been doing it for the past few decades, basically. And they have a track record of being correct about many things. Solar energy, EVs. They talked about that's going to happen from the sustainability era. There's so many other things that they've been talking about, even AI to an extent. But then you see the other people that go further deep in permaculture, which is necessary now for the future of regeneration and sustainability. You talk about regional architecture and the way that you can produce mass economies of sustainable housing for the world in a time where we know that the next 30 years are going to see the highest population growth of Africa. So they lower the price by a fourth and they multiply the quality and speediness that it can reach to its audience. And that, that allows for the potential of tremendous prosperity, akin to that crypto can bring to the world.
Yeah. And the human element, right?
Yeah.
Like the human element is so important.
There's even more than human element here. There is the meta-human, the spiritual. There really is a lot of that matters for people here.
Right.
The other thing that is very interesting is that it's an embrace of multiple generations, multiple genders, cultures, and ideas. It is very diverse when it comes to the point of view and the spirit of the people that are here. Different ages from around the world. It's brilliant.
Yeah. We have, I guess, in the network state space, the crypto space, obviously a little bit younger generation, more male, I guess. Also, there's a lot of programmers.
That's very important to note.
Yeah.
That these people have different ideals sometimes, but they come to the same conclusions of the network state movement.
Yeah.
Vitalia was about decile longevity, different type of people from here. This is more natural, we don't touch these things. Yet, the people in the decile bio space want a place near the nature that they can live and eat healthy and have a healthy lifestyle and be free of fucking laws. The people here want exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
The libertarians that wanted liberalism from before want exactly the same thing. The crypto network states want exactly the same thing. And there's many such examples happening.
Yeah.
For throughout history that now are all coming together in an inflection point. And then we'll potentially see a tremendous migration from urban areas to suburban areas that are intentional in their nature.
Yeah, human solutions, right? This is what everybody is building to.
Yeah.
It's the idea of how do we create the parallel societies, the human solutions, AI helps, technology helps, but we're really just working on the solutions that, like you said, many generations before us have wanted anyways.
Yeah.
Right?
That's very important. It's akin to human nature.
Yeah. That's at the core of everything. And Austin is a pretty powerful place for this.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's my first time here. I want to come again as often as I can. I mean, if I was in the United States, I can see why it'd be tempting to live here in Austin.
Yeah. So what are you working on now? You've got a good little project starting to emerge.
Yeah.
I've been hanging out in the group and seeing what you're working on. Tell us a bit of kind of like, what is the model that you're thinking
Voyager
about?
Island specifically, right?
Yeah,
because that's one of my important integral projects as a pop-up city, but that's not my only project.
Yeah.
And arguably right now, it's not the one that I've been able to offer as much attention because I was fundraising for my other projects, which we can talk about as well. But what Voyager Island is the largest experiment in history on complementary currencies and community currencies. It is the bringing together of 100 to 150 people of different backgrounds, developers, monetary economists, practitioners, and other people that are trying to create alternative monetary policy happen through cryptocurrencies. Crypto and blockchain allows us to create new monetary systems. These can be something akin to governance or stock or utility, but there also can be monetary value in them by the way that they're designed. Let me give you an example. An economist from Germany and Argentina called Silvio Gazelle in the 1870s, 80s, 90s was writing this new ideology based on different types of money, a new economy based on different types of money. The mid to late 1800s are a very interesting time because there was a lot of alternative economic theory. Communism and fascism and democracy had not become the premier ideologies. Society had just switched the past 100 years to democracies from empires, from kingdoms, from kind of modern feudalist.
Markets were just starting to emerge in Europe.
Everywhere. So it was an incredible time of thinking, of rethinking of how these systems can work, akin to where we are today with crypto. So these ideas came about money and what money is. And it is a medium of exchange, sometimes a store of value, although people will dispute that for money, and also unit of account. So these people were looking at the dollar as having 2%, or at the whatever currency, fiat currency was at 2% inflation, and they said, that's not enough. Because if that happens and returns come from people that have capital, people are not going to spend that money and they will just invest that money again. That's the same that happens with deflationary currency, where you don't invest outside of the currency, you invest in the same currency, which is Bitcoin. So what this guy Silvio Gazelle said is that they will create a tax every week that you don't spend your money. So if you have $100 and you don't spend them 1 week, they will lose 10% of their value. So you're incentivized to spend that money now. And that means that not only you, but anyone in your community, your geographical location that this experiment is taking place in, needs to spend that money. So they need to collaborate with you.
You need to have the exchange.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
And there is value in these monies because they can be used for some parts which are integral to a community. That's the sink, taking that value away or producing a value into the system actually, which is perhaps for taxations. So in the 1930s, an Austrian village called Wurgel aspired that idea and put it to practice. And they created their own script, which is private currency, that was representing a 10,000 mark collateral, a stake basically, that was from the city. And they created a representation of these money that had a different monetary policy and gave them to people for work, to clean their sidewalks, to build things, to do whatever the municipality wanted. Okay, so these people then took that money and knew that they could use that to pay taxes, so they knew there was value. And that means that they started giving money around to everyone. And the economic velocity, the economic activity increased dramatically because the monetary velocity, the velocity of money being spent increased dramatically. So people were exchanging value with each other faster. And that's ultimately what the market is. It's two individuals coming into an agreement about an exchange of value that benefits both of them. When you give me milk and I give you wheat, you want wheat, I want that milk, we exchange value. Money is a tool that allows us to work better. The more the money does that, the better the money is in their ideology and idea. And they did it in practice and they proved themselves there. So I'm trying to recreate experiments of similar nature with different models, not just that. Time money is another one. Where each people put time in and that time is valuable because it's time is the most valuable non-resource on the planet, really. So exchanging it between a curated group of people is valuable. And there's other examples of this as well. So Voyager Island, it aims to prove and test these models. Prove, very difficult. Test,
the sandbox, right? We can play with these concepts.
And we want to do 4 of those currencies for 4 weeks, all of them competing for the same market share, which is in a small island, undisclosed location, secret for those who sign up, in Greece, sometime right after the summer. That's going to allow these 100 people to come and test these things and also test how these things can move from one network state to another. If you can now create a monetary policy that goes beyond one pop-up state and goes toward the whole network state. If you want to create a new society, a new economy, there's 2 ways that you do economic stimulus. That's monetary or fiscal. So it's an interesting experiment for us to try and test. Because there is wisdom in the old systems.
Of course, we can't burn it all down.
We can't burn it all down, and if we can find a way to unearth hidden value in these systems and elevate it through crypto and other technologies, we can ensure a lot more prosperity for everyone that cares about prosperity, which I think is everyone. I think that's part of human nature.
I think this is one of the important things also that I speak to a lot is how important it is to not just work on, let's say, the economic models within communities when we're talking about the new concepts of network state development, but the most important element is the integration between economies, right? This is why we have some level of stability at global scale, is because of multiple economies.
Yes.
And so what we really need is to have all of these sandboxes, all of these experiments with everybody working on it, but integrated with exchanges so that when there's a failure, we experience the network effect. And the strength relies actually in the network, not in the solution that any one person or one community is developing.
That's the beauty of economics. That's the beauty of commerce and of human nature. We specialize and we become better at many different things. Vitalia has a specialty, which is biotech. Vitalia had the specialty, it's now Infinity, and there's many others, Viva, and many others that came after Vitalia. But they were specializing for one niche, which is pharma or neo-pharma or D-pharma, D-side, D-line. There's others in Liberland. They're trying to do D-space. Another focus for space exploration done in a decentralized way.
D-pin, all the Ds.
D-pin is going to happen somewhere else. What I'm doing is another niche, which is monetary policy. There's going to be in Argentina where it's DeFi for the whole society, trying to elevate DeFi from being a niche internet financial mechanism to being a national, pan-Argentinian financial ecosystem. There's needs, there's desires, there's expertise. Each community that will emerge will have one of those or many in the future when they become permanent. being able to exchange this is crucial for the network state
Yeah.
emergence.
What do you think about the challenge within the intentional community space? Often there's an idea that capitalism, money, the accounting of value itself somehow is a problem that actually causes the issues that between the humans.
So I think it's the biggest roadblock that these societies, communities have to achieve permanence and relevance. Throughout the past decades, we figured out some things about how money works and how prosperity works. Look at Singapore, Hong Kong, Shenzhen, many special economic zone areas that emerged. We know how money flows. People don't like the way the system currently works because the system works flawedly. It's
Right.
repressed by bad policy and local laws. So they don't understand how valuable this free market system really is and how productive and producive it is for everyone involved in it. And that's holding them back.
Yeah.
They want the same thing as everybody in the network state. The network state is a lot more savvy when it comes to business and economics and money. They know how value is created. They want to help all of them create the value because they want everyone to prosper. If crypto wants to get adoption, it's going to start from here. If the crypto people are able to respectfully explain the value they produce to people here, and if they will be open-minded and ready to take that information and use what they can with it, there is a big chance that new economic systems will emerge from intentional communities that are seeking to try new things.
Yeah. And ultimately, these are tools. These are tools that
100%.
we're using for integration and
Policy,
communication.
government,
Yeah.
everything is about tools, about
Right.
collaboration.
Yeah. Well, we're building new tools here for sure.
Yes.
Not just the tech, the regen tech, the regen of economics, the refi, right?
The relationships,
That's
the
right.
tools.
The relationships with the tools and how the tools relate with what we're trying to produce. This is the
Absolutely.
important stuff. And the intentionality that comes from this community is an important element. If you have the intentionality for human flourishing and ecological regeneration, then we can use the tools for good purposes, right?
Absolutely. What did you think of this experience?
Yeah, this is where the humans are. This is where the human integration is. This is where people are really focused on the humanity of it. And what I'm really excited about what Regen World has been doing is actually introducing the practical elements that are necessary to make that work. Like you said,
100%.
I think the thing that is lacking for scalability is the economics and the tools that make it work, right? So whether you go with Dunbar's number or whatever, there's only a certain point you can get to before you have to have some sort of commonly recognized accounting of value in exchange for something,
Yes.
right? It works fine if you've got 10 people hanging out in a community and everybody's cooking and helping. But when you start to get to the sizes of society and larger neighborhoods, then you have a different situation.
I'd say that even the 10 people hanging out in a commune, if they don't have prosperity emerging from the commune that benefits everyone, are also going to implode into the basis of the human shit that was discussed by one of the speakers here, where people get vindictive and they get jealous, right? Because the only way that people remain committed to any intentional community, any movement, any organization, is if they get something valuable from it. Whatever that value is for them.
Yeah. And I would take it even further and say that the value that someone recognizes is incredibly important for how they recognize their own value. And then you get into the actual individual psychology.
They're very good at that. They're very good at understanding that.
Yes.
And understanding that they need to be open. And that's why I believe there's tremendous hope. There is tremendous hope in making the regenerative vision reality in the next 150 to 100 years. Soon, it's coming faster than we think. I didn't know Bitcoin 100K would be here. I didn't know we'd have special economic zones. I didn't know we'd have fucking AI coming right around the corner.
Yeah.
Drones everywhere. That didn't exist when I was growing up, and I'm not that old.
Yeah.
And I know people telling me that, oh, that's just science fiction. But it's here now.
The future is here, man.
It's
the
here.
future is here.
So
We're
let's
building
go.
it.
Everyone wants the same thing. Everyone is moving towards the same thing. As long as we don't have a huge disaster before we get to that transition, we are going to be more than fine. We're going to prosper. We're going to go around the world. We're going to increase in numbers. We're going to go across the stars.
I'm bullish on humanity, man.
I am too. I am very optimistic.
Awesome. Well, I look forward to keeping track of your building, your experiments. You know, we're working on Loki with our own microeconomies and figuring out how to integrate. I'm looking forward to connecting with you and following how the adventure goes, man.
Shout out to Zuzalu that brought
Zuzalu.
me into this movement. Shout out to Zukasa, which is my baby product that I'm going to build.
Yeah.
Hoping to make this thing a reality.
That's it. We're here doing the work, brother.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time. So good to have you.
Great to be here.
Be well.